When I first began to think about Einstein's justifications for thought experiments, it was highly intriguing. In most cases during Einstein's career it was mocked as something that was considered crackpot. However, with time and hindsight, we know that Einstein was just simply brilliant and so far ahead of his time, it is sickening. This leads to one we know today as Stephen Hawking. Hawking is also well noted as having the capabilities that allowed Einstein to find the answers to some of the deepest questions in the universe, or dimension for those of you who prefer that reference. Unfortunately for Stephen Hawking, the choice came under much different circumstances. Stephen suffers from ALS and has lost nearly all functions of his body, except his brain. Stephen is bound to a wheelchair and talks through a voice box. It sounds like something from the late 70s if you are unfamiliar. Funny part is he leaves it that way on purpose for effect, I am pretty sure. Now that does not discount the sheer brilliance of the man, but it certainly adds incentives to his readers, students and audience to believe he is doing something that everyone else is not capable of. However, I am not buying it, and by it I mean that he isn't using some of this to elaborate his position in the scientific community. Couple things. 1. We all know there is software on your phones that can make a better type-to-talk voice. As a matter of fact, there are retarded commercials everywhere glorifying it lately. I really like the one where there are two people in the middle of nowhere, and she is on the phone asking where paradise is. Mode on, right in front of you. So back to right in front of you. For a guy who has far surpassed the normal restrictions of his disease, I am not sure how this is not more valid news than God particles and aliens. I love both concepts, but when you get out of academia and into the real world it seems almost prescient. One of the theories I have on it is simple, based on the rules the Hawking is touting and promoting. Hawking is a big proponent of the rules of time and space and the effects that space can have on the human body. We have all seen Stephen's fascination with the subject and his actual experiences in space. So to fast forward, I say Stephen Hawking is alive still because of how much time he was able to spend in space. Yes, I have a grant ready for approval to test the hypothesis. Now this is way off subject considering the title, but I wanted to strip down some old wallpaper before I put up the new stuff. Today I was sitting here having my daily thought experiment. I at the moment had become so focused on my computer screen that I had got that effect where you see double. Now if I hadn't done my homework on how the optical receptors send information to the brain, and how the eyes are self-correcting the factor by vibrating rapidly, within the 15-degree range, I would be dumbfounded. However, I am not, and I know both eyes vibrate to focus, giving perception and perspective on reality. Now what I had just realized was by focusing I was able to stop my eyes from vibrating to see two very distinct visions of one thing. It then came clear to me, like it did to Einstein on that train that day staring at that clock, relatively speaking. That last line was a pun intended. So rather than focus my eyes, I decided to examine the visions and see how each eye was interpreting the image. Then it came clear to me. There are always two dimensions within our single reality. At that moment reality was what I was seeing, and that is two of one thing. Think about that for a second. Your brain is not confused by what it is interpreting, you are. If you need more information to support why this may be an interesting question, I suggest you pick up the book The Holographic Paradox and Other Paradigms. What it suggests is something similar to The Matrix. In fact, I am positive that The Matrix was based off this book, but you can decide for yourself. What Carl Program suggests is simple. Your brain is a processor. What you see is what your brain interpreted, not what it saw. Program supports this by the simple fact that we have somewhat unfolded this capability through mathematics. The fact that we use math to explain reality serves to support that in fact the brain already is capable of allowing for such interpretation. Okay, that last paragraph probably gave you a headache, but it should. It did me. That is why I wrote this.